I'm gonna put the link to my baby registry. I'm due in October. I'm having a
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, 2.hottie, formerly known as Keeping Up with Kels. This video is a story time on why I've been gone. Well, not really why I've been gone, because I just kind of found out, so I can't really say that. But basically, I'm gonna just get right into the video. How do I say this?
The best way to tell the story is by starting at the end, briefly, then going back to the beginning, and periodically returning to the end, maybe giving different characters perspectives throughout. Just to give it a bit of dynamism, otherwise it's just sort of a linear story.
Just tell us what happened.
This is a story time on how I found out I was pregnant, basically, right? So, I did the last story time on my boyfriend. I don't know if did I mention him? I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure I did. I told you he's not all the way too sane or whatever. And yeah, so we got back together in October, because we started dating in like 2020. We've been together for 3 years on and off at this point. Like right now, it's been 3 years, 4 years. So so basically, okay, so we were together. We broke up in like February. He went to Jamaica in January. He came back from Jamaica, and we broke up in February. So while we was broken up for like 3 weeks before I found out. So we was broken up or whatever. And oh yeah, so I'm outside, I'm chilling, I'm honestly living my best life at this point. Like, I'm going out with my friends, I'm doing me, I'm enjoying myself, or whatever the case may be. And my mom, she was just badgering me, because I grew up in a Caribbean household. So my mom has been tracking my period since it came, and my period came at the age of 10. So I'm about to be 21 this year. My mother has been tracking my period for 11 years. So, and she's on my back, she's like, where's your period at? Like, your period is late. So me knowing my body, my period is always like a week or two late. Not ever, it's never been 2 full weeks late, but it's always been like a week or like 10 days late or something like that. So I don't really pay it no mind when it's late, because my period isn't really regular. Like, it comes, but it don't come at the same time all the time. So it'll come around the same time of the month, but it really won't come, like, you know, some girls' periods, or if it come on the 21st, it's either gonna come between the 20th and the 24th or whatever on the next month. Like, it's not gonna be too far away from that date. Mine, no, I can't track my period like that, because it's gonna come when it wants to. Because I was on the pill, I was on the implant, I done did the Depo shot, I done tried 3 different forms of birth control. The worst form, like I said, was the Nexplanon. That's the one that go in your arm. I would not recommend, because that just had my body feeling so crazy. Like, I felt like I was being controlled by a robot. I don't like how birth control makes my body feel in general, but you know, if you don't want to have a baby, it's what you gotta do. So now, I got off birth control a while ago. After I left that situation that I was in New Jersey, where he broke my phone or whatever, I got off birth control, because it was like, I'm not about to keep beating up my body and my ovaries and whatnot. And I'm not in a relationship anyways, so it don't even matter. But then I ended up getting back with my ex, which was my baby father now. So yeah, so few more days go by, and I'm telling my mom, like, no, it's gonna come. I'm really not paying my mom no mind. Like, I'm not listening to nothing she's saying. Everything she's saying is going in through one ear and literally coming out the next. Like, you can see it just floating away. Like, I don't care. Like, in my head, I was just not pregnant. I was out drinking, smoking, partying. I couldn't be pregnant. Like, how you gonna tell me I'm pregnant now? Like, I'm not living my best life right now as we speak. How you gonna tell me that? So I ended up, I'm talking to my friend about it or whatever, and me and Mocha, we talking, and it's just like, I'm telling her, like, I think I might be pregnant. Like, for me, she's like, well, what you wanna do? She's like, you wanna wait a few days? You wanna take the test? I'm like, I'm gonna wait a few days, but like, it's the cancer in me, so I really couldn't wait a few days. So eventually it started eating away at me. Mind you, this is a Sunday. I found out I was pregnant March 5th. I remember the date exactly, because pharmacies don't open on Sundays, so there was nowhere for me to go to actually buy this pregnancy test, which is another part of the story. So now I couldn't sit on it no more. At this point, I was already like a month and a half late. It was like, damn, how many more days am I gonna wait before I find out if I'm pregnant or not? Like, I'm not about to keep partying and keep doing all of this, and I really don't know. So I went to go see my dumb self. I went to go see, there was this pharmacy on Google Maps that said they was open. So I went to go see if they was open. They was not open. So then I walked down, it was on Pickin. So for those of y'all from Brooklyn, y'all know what Pickin is. So now I'm walking down Pickin, and I'm just looking for somewhere to go in the store and buy a pregnancy test. But I went in the corner stores, and you know, the corner stores be having those, my bad, the hair is tickling my back. The corner stores be having those like little cheap pregnancy test that's like $1 and some change or whatever, and I'm like, I don't want this, because I don't want to see no false positives or no false negatives. Or I pee on this cheap test and it's negative, and 3 weeks later my period's still not here, so then I go to the doctor, and 3 weeks later when I'm at the doctor telling me like, ma'am, you're pregnant. I ain't want to deal with none of that. So I was just trying to find, even if I had to find a cheap one, I was still trying to find a decent cheap test. So I ended up walking down Pickin. It took me about 30 minutes. I ended up walking to a whole nother part of Pickin. Like, I live in East New York, basically Queens. I done walked so far down Pickin. I left East New York and ended up in Brownsville. So it was, when you're from New York, you know, it's not a long walk. But that is at least a 15, 20, 30-minute walk. Like, depending on what part of the East you live in and what part of the Ville you stop at, that is a 15 to 30-minute walk. Like, it's not like, that's 15 minutes there and 15 minutes back. So, yeah. It was about 30 minutes from my house, because I walked all the way to some C-Town. Mind you, when I got to the C-Town and I'm walking home, I remember that I had one by my house, and I could have just turned back and walked home. Instead of walking down Pickin, I could have just walked back to my house and found, like, you know, went to that C-Town. But that's neither here nor there. I'm walking down. I went in like 7 different corner stores. I'm looking, like, you know, they asked me if you need help. I'm looking at all the tests on the wall. I'm like, no, I don't need help. If these are all the cheap shits you got, I don't need your help. So I'm like, all right, cool. So now the whole time I'm looking for a test, I'm texting my friend. I'm like, girl, I'm outside. I'm walking. I'm like, da-da-da. So now, what happens? I finally find the C-Town. I'm like, you know what? Let me check in here. Because, you know, like, supermarkets and stuff like that, they be having, like, a little pharmacy section where they sell Benadryl, Tylenol, and stuff like that. So I'm like, yo, I know for a fact they're gonna have, even if it's not the expensive ones like Clear Blue, they're going to have some type of pregnancy test in here for me to take. So now I go in there, and there's nobody behind the desk. I'm like, yo, God is just playing with me, right? So now I'm looking around. I'm looking to see if I find somebody. It's nobody there. I ended up going behind the desk myself and grabbing the test. I'm like, yeah, I'm not about to just wait. So I grabbed 2. When I paid for them, I grabbed 2 because when they scanned the first one to pay for it, it was $4. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm about to just grab another one. So I grabbed both of them, right? And as a female, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that's had a pregnancy scare before. We've all had pregnancy scares, and if you know, you know, it's possible to pee on a stick wrong and get a false positive. So, like, yeah. It's always good to have 2, and it's always good to know what you're doing. So this time, when I get home, I pee in, like, a plastic throwaway cup. So I pee in the cup, and I be seeing them do it. So they take the test, and they stick it in the cup. They hold it there for a few seconds. So that's what I did. I took the test, I stuck it in the cup, and I held it there for a few seconds. Then I took it out, I put the cap back on, and I let it sit. The test came back positive, I want to say within like 30 seconds. The test was, both lines was there, and they was both bold. I screamed. Like, there was no words coming out with the scream. It was just like, you know how they be screaming in the horror movies, and it just be, ah. That was me. I just sat in my bathroom and I screamed. So now, I'm like, I sent my friend a picture of the test. I'm like, bro, I'm pregnant. Feel me? She like, no way. I sent her the test. We both got the same fucking reaction. We both like, no fucking way, right? So I'm like, nah, I'm about to take the next one out. She was like, nah, wait. I'm like, no, I'm about to take the next one. So I took the next one. I did it the same way. I stuck it in the pee, and I did it that way. Next one came back positive within 2 seconds. So now I'm sitting here like, ah, shit. Mind you, my mom is the one that told me to take these tests. She was on my back. She kept telling me like, yo, I think you're pregnant. Like, your period is not here. I need you to go take a test and figure it out. So now she's texting me like, what does it say? What does it say? In the back of my head, I want to tell her it says negative. But then it's like, I can't even do that. I'm not about to lie. I'm too grown to be lying. I'm about to be 21 this year. It makes no sense to me to lie to her. I'm old enough to know that she knows I'm having sex. So this is what comes with sex. It's nothing for me to lie over at this point. Right? So, I go in her room and I tell her. And honestly, she was just like, what does it say? I just looked at her. No, she didn't ask me what it said. She was like, it's positive, right? And I just looked at her. And I sat down on her bed and I cried. I cried for about 10, 15 minutes, right? So then I texted my ex at the time, which is my baby father. I texted him and I'm like, I'm pregnant. Like, for me, he didn't respond right away. It took him like an hour or two to respond. He responded, finally said what he said. He was like, oh, my phone was dead, yada, yada, yada. He was excited. He was like, oh, sorry, keeping my baby, yada, yada, yada. We spoke about it. He was like, oh, I want you to keep it, but you know, I'm with whatever you with. If you don't want to keep it, that's cool. I respect it, but I want you to keep the baby. So we spoke about that, and then I'm like, okay, we can co-parent. Because at the time, I really didn't even want to be in a relationship with him. He's not 100% there mentally. He's not together enough to be a boyfriend and a father all at the same time. I feel like he feels like he can do it, but I just feel like he can't. So he was just like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna get it together, we're gonna get together. And that's like another story time on how my pregnancy has been going. But I mean, since y'all watched the video so far, I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm having at the very end of the video. But yeah, let me show you my sonograms. I don't really know if you guys can see, but these are the latest sonograms I got. It's not all of them. Like, this is one of them that I got or whatever. But yeah, like I was saying, I don't think he's ready to just be a boyfriend and a father at the same time. I think he needs to focus on being one. And since the child's needs are more important, I would rather he focus on being a father than being a boyfriend. Like, you need to get yourself together because we're about to have a baby. And he was like, oh, I want to be together. We tried being together. It's not working. He's not to say like he's the only problem. We just, at this point, with all my hormones, we don't go together too well. So I'm not about to keep dealing with that. But like I said, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother story time. But that's the story on how I found out I was pregnant, because everybody that has me on social media from YouTube knows I'm pregnant, and they want to know how I found out, and they want me to come on here and tell you guys. So came on here and I told you guys. But I'm gonna put the link to my baby registry. I'm doing October. I'm having a girl. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and see you soon.